It's time to get stuck into shocking lightsaber showings that had no right to go so damn hard, underutilized characters finally showing exactly what they're made of, and those sudden acts of violence that remind fans that just when they think they've seen it all, Star Wars will always find a way to keep them on their toes. Gareth here from What Culture Star Wars, and here are 10 amazing Star Wars scenes that came totally out of nowhere. Number 10. Vader goes nuts, Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Rather than just end the bittersweet tale of the titular crew finally managing to get the Death Star plans to the rebels after they'd unfortunately paid the ultimate price, Gareth Edwards suddenly unleashed a Darth Vader unlike any fans had witnessed on the big screen before late on in Rogue One. During one absolutely breathless setup to the sight of a de-aged Carrie Fisher explaining how the aforementioned schematics had given the Alliance hope, Rogue One briefly turns into something resembling a brutal slasher flick in space. Vader savagely slices through the desperate rebels aboard their command vessel as he attempts to get the plans back in Imperial hands, showing off a level of cold-hearted ferocity that few honestly saw heading their way after Vader's previous brief showing opposite director Krennic earlier in the picture. Nobody likely had a glorious Vader massacre on their Rogue One bingo card coming into this one, but it acted as one of the spin-off's undisputed highlights when all was said and done. Number 9. Yaddle's epic last stand, Tales of the Jedi. Much of the focus was understandably on what the likes of Ahsoka Tano and Count Dooku would be getting up to in the bite-sized chunks of Jedi goodness heading into Tales of the Jedi. However, it was in that latter Fallen Jedi's portion of the 6-part series that another unexpected MVP revealed themselves. After sitting as one of the most mysterious and unassuming members of the Jedi Council during her debut in The Phantom Menace, Yaddle was finally given a chance to shine in the 4th episode, The Sith Lord. And if revealing that not all of Yoda's race speak in that often perplexing manner wasn't surprising enough for you, then the Bryce Dallas Howard voiced warrior's decision to bravely take the fight to Dooku and his new Sith master likely did the trick. Seeing Yaddle eventually offer Dooku a way back to the light side before incredibly surviving being crushed by a door during their duel only made her eventual demise that little more devastating to behold. Once the dust had settled on her unexpectedly moving last stand against evil, it's safe to say Yaddle not only found her voice, she found a way to leave a hell of a mark on the galaxy far, far away too. Number 8. AHMED saves Grogu, the Mandalorian. From the minute it became clear that another little green hero had been rescued from the carnage seen going down inside of the Jedi Temple during Order 66, fans began theorizing which Force user or well-known Star Wars face helped bring Grogu to safety. But instead of Mace Windu surviving his Coruscant fall and helping send the child down a path that would eventually see him connect with Din Djarin, the mightiest of cameos in Season 3 of The Mandalorian was revealed to have set that entire Mando Grogu ball a-rollin'. Making his first significant appearance in the galaxy far, far away since the prequels, Jar Jar Binks actor Ahmed Best rocked up as Jedi Master Kelleran Beck in one of Grogu's flashbacks during Chapter 20, a character he'd previously played in the Jedi Temple Challenge children's game show. And it was here when Beck was remembered/revealed brilliantly fending off clones with his 2 lightsabers, and eventually just about getting Grogu off-world. Best's surprising and joyous return also paved the way for the actor finally receiving some long-awaited love from the Star Wars fanbase, with Jon Favreau even noting how it was a wonderful moment seeing the amount of appreciation sent the star's way after years of Jar Jar backlash. Number 7. Snoke gets split, Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Supreme Leader Snoke felt like a force not to be messed with as Episode 8 landed on screens in 2017. Yet Rian Johnson clearly had zero interest in delivering anything close to the expected during much of his The Last Jedi adventure, and the way he handled the big bad Snoke in the room reflected this brilliantly. Instead of having Snoke reveal to Rey that he was actually Darth Plagueis, or release another often argued fan theory into the world, Johnson decided that the best call would be to eliminate Andy Serkis's sinister presence and the overall Emperor and pupil dynamic found throughout the series. This would then lead to a scenario where all bets are off going into the next one, as he put it. And while this would ultimately be somewhat undone thanks to the Emperor's return in Rise of Skywalker, for a minute there Kylo Ren's slicing of his master in 2 before teaming with Rey to execute one of the most stylish and awesome fight sequences of the sequels made for a truly epic twist in the moment. Number 6. Andor's Cold Kills, Andor and Rogue One. Cassian Andor's first appearance in the Star Wars sphere back in 2016 saw Diego Luna's rebel captain set the tone for the desperate times to come, coldly and shockingly blasting informant Tivik once it became clear that he may be taken captive by the incoming stormtroopers. A few years before that Rogue One shocker though, Andor was added again in the aftermath of just about pulling off an Imperial payroll heist alongside his new rebel teammates in his titular series. Emotions were already running high after witnessing the likes of Gorn and Taramyn fail to survive the deadly mission, and with Skeen feeling that the wise move would be to simply betray the remaining Sartha and mortally wounded Nemik and take the money for themselves, an agitated Andor quickly sensed the only choice he had was to blast his brief ally mid-sentence. This flash of out-of-the-blue violence again served as a reminder of just how high the stakes were during the early days of the rebellion, and how far folks were willing to go to survive in this volatile galaxy. Number 5. Mayfield loses control, The Mandalorian. During The Mandalorian's Chapter 15, the Believer episode, the former Imperial sharpshooter known as Migs Mayfield is recruited by Mando for a mission on Morak, which will involve them stealing the coordinates to Moff Gideon's ship. But after managing to finally get inside of the officer's mess hall, and in front of the terminal containing said all-important coordinates, Mayfield soon comes face to face with his former commanding officer Valin Hess. Amazingly, a sequence that also sees Din Djarin forced to reveal his face doesn't stop there when it comes to incredibly unpredictable occurrences. When sat opposite Hess, Mayfield recounts the Burning Con atrocity that went down during Operation Cinder, which saw many of his fellow troops being sent to their deaths by the Imperial officer. And upon realizing how dismissive Hess was about the whole ordeal, Mayfield suddenly loses his cool and lashes out via blast through the grinning Empire man's chest. The startling moment itself, one which sees Pedro Pascal unleash a hilariously shocked "what did you just do" face after said shot leads to their cover being blown, comes out of nowhere, sure, but it was comedy star Bill Burr's unexpectedly powerful performance opposite the slimy Richard Brake as he struggled to keep from avenging his fallen brothers that really unexpectedly stole the show. Number 4. Caleb/Kanan's Order 66 appearance, The Bad Batch. The Bad Batch always promised a few satisfying returns along the way, with the likes of Saw Gerrera and Fennec Shan being spotted in the first season's trailers. However, the show's first episode actually got things underway with a far more surprising cameo shocker out of the gates. The action picks up right in those dying days of the Clone Wars, as Master Depa Billaba and her Padawan Caleb Doom are assisted by the titular defective clones on the battlefield. And that aforementioned surprise Padawan appearance in particular left many a smile stretching across the faces of just about every Rebels fan on the planet, with Doom eventually going on to become a major player as Kanan Jarrus in that other Star Wars animated hit. But in next to no time at all, said grin soon crumbled into a concerned stare, as the reality of the situation fans had once heard described in Rebels by the Grand Inquisitor soon shockingly played out before their very eyes. With Order 66 inevitably being issued by the Emperor, Doom is ultimately left unable to aid his outgunned master as she pleads with him to run. It's gloriously heartbreaking, and even more so after finally seeing the eventual Kanan's relationship with Billaba realized on the small screen, only to have it be brutally torn in two on the back of the clones being good soldiers and following orders. Number 3. Cad Bane's live-action debut, The Book of Boba Fett. It did always feel somewhat inevitable that the likes of Din Djarin and co could possibly pop up in a Book of Boba Fett that was pretty much destined to be The Mandalorian Season 2.5, wasn't it? However, when it came to the arrival of a certain gunslinger longtime rival of the titular Beskar-wearing badass, you'd likely struggle to find a single soul who wasn't left entirely stunned by his emergence in Chapter 6. After Cobb Vanth had taken down a few Pike Syndicate spice runners earlier in the episode, none other than one of the most menacing bounty hunters in the galaxy, Cad Bane, pays the Marshal a surprise visit. A captivating and marvelously intense standoff soon takes place, with the Clone Wars and Bad Batch figure warning Vanth and Freetown to stay clear of the war to come, or else. With Bane then quickly neutralizing the Marshal and fully lighting up his deputy with the sort of savage ease fans of the animated corner of the galaxy far, far away had come to expect of the mighty Bane, the Space Cowboy's unanticipated live-action debut scene was about as perfectly executed as anyone could have hoped for. Number 2. The World Between Worlds is revealed, Rebels. When it comes to awesome moments and sequences that came completely out of left field in Rebels, you'd struggle to find a more impactful one than the staggering discovery of the World Between Worlds during the episode of the same name in Season 4. After using the painting of the Mortis gods to uncover a portal of sorts, Ezra Bridger dives into it and soon finds himself in a strange old place. Here, the Jedi Padawan hears rumbles of the past and future, and can also see pivotal moments from his own history, such as the death of his own master and Ahsoka Tano battling with Darth Vader on Malachor. Things take an even more surreal turn in the wake of Bridger actually managing to save Tano's life by dragging her into the world between worlds, and being talked out of attempting to do the same for his fallen master, with Darth Sidious soon stopping by via some Sith sorcery. From seeing the two Force-sensitive heroes just about evade the Dark Lord of the Sith within the beautifully bizarre plane, to the many subtle ways the world between worlds connects the entire Star Wars universe, Dave Filoni and the gang took a bold swing with this ambitious sequence and knocked it out of the park. Number 1. A prequels flashback, Obi-Wan Kenobi. More than a few were hoping to see the odd glimpse into the prequel's past during the long-awaited return of Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi and Hayden Christensen's Darth Vader/Anakin Skywalker. And that's precisely what fans got early on, with the series kicking off with a brief mid-Order 66 slice of chaos. Christensen then appeared in full Skywalker form during a vision of sorts had by the long-suffering Ben too. But in a rather pleasant surprise, the blasts from the past weren't done there. Part 5 actually dumped Obi-Wan Kenobi watchers right into the thick of some edge-of-your-seat lightsaber training between the titular Jedi Master and his cocky Padawan back before the Clone Wars had even gripped the galaxy. The superb call was also made to have the two's enthralling bout of practice gradually unfold over the course of the episode, as the pair reflected on their time as Master and Padawan whilst Vader tracked Kenobi to Jabim. Simply put, watching McGregor and Christensen suddenly roll back the years in masterful fashion was both brilliantly nostalgic and tragic here, and the fact few were even remotely ready to be thrown back into a mullet and braid-wearing era in the Jedi brothers' relationship only made this unforeseen lesson even more impactful in the end. And that's our list. Know of any other amazing Star Wars scenes that came totally out of nowhere? Let us know all about them in the comment section right down below, and do not forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button while you're at it. Also, if you think the Force is strong with this kind of stuff, then head on over to whatculture.com and find some more articles just like the one this video you're watching right now is based on. I have been Gareth from What Culture Star Wars. May the Force be with you as always. Thank you very much for watching this video today, and hopefully I will see your faces rather soon. Bye bye!